nation I desire. Gather yourselves together, 'cause you're not alone. Oh, gather yourselves as that day is on and uplift one another. Hold on, Israel. It's about to shift. Gather yourself together, nation not desired. Gather yourself together and lift your head up high. Gather yourselves together, nation not desired. Gather yourselves together and lift your heads up high. Gather yourselves together, nation of desire. Gather yourselves together, 'cause you're not alone. Oh, gather yourselves, 'cause you're not alone.
All right. Shalom, y'all. Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to today's Sabbath class. I'm your brother Jacob. My brother beside me.
Brother Roy.
And today we're going into a topic. There's some controversy in Israel about this topic. In all actuality, it's really, really simple. You gotta get some elephants and lions and other animals and make hoops and get them to jump through them to make Ruth an Israelite. So we're going to prove it today that Ruth is a Moabite, but we're going to show you a lot of other things along the way. As I try to stress in all my classes, the commandments. The basis of everything that's written in the Bible is because of God's commandments. Which segues us into the same verses that Roy pulled last night when he did his class. Let's open up with the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever.
God's laws endure forever. Some people seem, for some reason, to think that God's laws are done away with. But Baruch, the scribe of Jeremiah, he says that they last forever. And you know, when you look like in the book of Revelation, for example, in Revelation 19, and it's talking about Christ, and he says, in righteousness will he judge and make war. Well, what is he going to judge? What is he going to use to judge? Revelation 20, the Father's coming back, and he's having all the books open, and you're going to be judged out of what's written in the book. So what's he going to use to judge? He's going to use his law. That's what. And as you read in Isaiah 2, the law is going to go forth out of Jerusalem into all the earth. So why would somebody think that the law is done away with? Like I said, it endured forever.
And like the scriptures say that you know the Lord by his judgments.
Yeah.
You gotta, who was he judging?
Right. Right. But yeah, what is he judging you
based
from?
off, right.
I don't get it.
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
Well, hold on. So you have to keep God's commandments, right? Real quick, 1 Peter 1:17, I believe. Like we said, what is he going to use to judge? Like, if we got to sit before the mercy seat of Christ, what is he going to use to judge? Go ahead.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 17. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judges according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
So he's going to judge you based on your works, which is based on the commandments that he gave. Back to Baruch.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 2. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated.
Right. So walking in the commandments, you'll be illuminated. Now, as we go through this history of what happened with Ruth, Naomi / Mara, Boaz, you're going to see laws playing themselves out. Now, verse 3. Yeah, verse 3.
Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
Right.
O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us.
So you're going to see stuff play out. Ruth is a Moabite. You're going to see that. Now, let's go to it. Let's go to Ruth. So I know for years, I went as we supposed to, precept upon precept, law upon law, here a little, there a little. But I came to understand that learning the commandments is the greatest tool that you could ever have in the scriptures. That is, the laws is the wisdom and the understanding of the Lord, not ourselves, because we'll look at something and come up with our own ideas, and that we shouldn't do. So watch this, y'all. Ruth chapter 1 and verse 1.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass, in the days where the judges ruled.
Stop. So, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled. So there was no king in Israel, and judges ruled. Give me that. Give me judges. So watch this. So I watched this video where brother went through. He went through a whole lot of stuff trying to prove that Ruth was an Israelite and she was from the tribe of Reuben. Right. So this let me go to it myself. So right here, what we're doing is we're going to the Strongs for this word for judges right here in verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled. So you got that up there? So this word here, when I got the wrong one myself, let me go down. This word here is Strong's H8199, and it's translated as judge, plead, avenge, condemn, execute, judgment. So under 1, it says to judge, govern, vindicate, and punish. So later on in this chapter, we're going to come across another word, and this is something that they try to use. So keep this in mind. This is Strong's H199, and it means to judge. Now come back to us and read verse 1 from the top. We're going to stop you again.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass, in the days when the judges ruled, that there was a famine in the land.
Stop. So, who brings the famine? Who causes famine? Right. The Most High causes famine. So evidently, he has a controversy with our people in our lands. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 5. You know, my brother Tawabaman got me, examining words because he likes to do that. Give me verse 16. There we go.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 5 and verse 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine,
Right.
which shall be for their destruction.
So the Lord sends famine. He sends famine. He sends pestilence. He sends everything into the land because of our wickedness. It's for our punishment. So straight off the bat, there's a famine in the land. That tells you people are doing what they want to do. There was no king. Finish that verse.
When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread.
Right. Now back to Ruth 1.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days when judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons.
Right. So he, his wife, and his 2 sons, they went into the country of Moab. Pull up that map. Give me that map. Yeah, I forgot to put the map on here. But when you look on the right-hand side, you'll see Reuben. You'll see the land of Reuben. Now, the land of Reuben used to be Moab's land. Right. Yeah, it used to be Moab's land. But underneath Moses, they destroyed them out of there and removed them out of the land. Now, but they did continue in the land underneath where it says Moab. So what people say is that they left out of Bethlehem, Judah, and went into the land of Reuben. Because as the brother says in the video, he says the plains of Moab, which is in the land of Reuben. You can drop that. So he took his family and they went into the land of Moab. Go to verse 2. No, it says country of Moab. But go ahead.
And the name of the man was Elimelech.
Elimelech, yeah.
Elimelech. And the name of his wife, Naomi.
Right.
And the name of his 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came unto the country of Moab and continued there.
Right. They came into the country of Moab. It's not specific as to what city or whatever they went into, but it says the country of Moab. Go ahead.
And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons.
Right. So he died. She was left with her 2 sons. Go ahead.
And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years.
Now give me Moab. So it's on y'all screen now. There are two words used. Now, underneath where it says root word etymology, one of them is 4124. If you look where it says the KJV translates Strong's 4125. So I saw the brother try to use, he tried to use 4124. But you're going to see that Ruth and Orpah are called both 4124 and 4125. So you can't get around it. What's that say? So you see it's translated as Moabite, Moabitess, Moab, and Moabitish. And then you got one is Moabite. It says from father, what father? Well, who is Moab? Moab is the father of the Moabites. Then you have second, a citizen of Moab, and then you have an inhabitant of the land of Moab. So you have to look at the context. As with other words, you have to look at the context of what's being said to figure out what is actually being said. Now, if you look down to the bottom of the page, you'll see I got highlighted in red. It says feminine. In the feminine form, you have Moabite or Moabitess. So a Moabitess is a female descendant of Moab. And it said right there next to it, i.e. a descendant of Moab, woman of Moab, a Moabite. Now, you can drop that. Now we're going to go to the scripture so you can see the context. Now, read verse 4 again.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 4. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. Mm-hmm. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years.
So this is talking about the women of Moab. When you in verse 2, it's the country of Moab. You know it's talking about the land. But here in verse 4, it's talking about descendants of Moab. Now, what's wrong with this picture? What's wrong in verse 4? Right, they took wives of another nation. Go to Deuteronomy 7.
3.
Go straight to 6.
6 is
Deuteronomy 7 and no, not 6.
You want 3? Make marriages?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither, you want to read?
No, you go ahead, go through it.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they might serve other gods.
So you cannot marry the heathen that are round about you. Was Moab, the country of Moab, were heathen in there that is round about Israel? Yes. Go ahead.
That they may serve other gods. So will the anger of...
Whoa. That they may serve other gods. Go ahead.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
Right, so the Lord will destroy thee suddenly. Since we own that, before we go back to Ruth, give me Numbers 25 and 1. So this same word we looked up that means is Strong's 4124 and 4125 is used again right here. Don't let nobody deceive you.
The book of Numbers, chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Right, it ain't talking about the land. Go ahead.
And they called the people unto their sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat, and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
See? But now, this right here, what happened, that man bought a Midianitish woman in the camp, and both of them got put to death on the spot. In Deuteronomy, the Lord said he will destroy you suddenly. Now go back to Ruth, and we're going to go to read 4 again.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 4. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. Mm-hmm. And they dwelled there about 10 years.
Right, so now you have Naomi, Orpah, Ruth, and the 2 sons. And they dwelt there about 10 years. Go ahead, verse 5.
And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them.
Now, why would both of them die?
Judgment.
Like you just said, judgment for taking them as wives. Go ahead.
And the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband.
So now she ain't got no husband, no sons, nothing. Pay close attention to everything. Like as we go on, listen to the words of Naomi and think about the commandments. Everything is based on commandments. Go ahead.
Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread.
So hold on. She heard in the country of Moab that the Lord has given who?
It says, visited his people in giving them bread.
Yes. So now the Lord is giving his people Israel bread again. Why did they say that? If they were with Israelites, these women were Israelites, why didn't the Lord say? Why didn't she hear that the Lord has given us?
Right.
He said his people. His people is Israel. Go ahead.
Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah.
Right.
And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house.
Hold up. Hold up. In Israelite custom, if you were married and your husband died and you didn't have any children, do you go back to your mother's house?
No, somebody supposed to take them women.
Leviticus 22. Start at 11. So this is talking about the priest and how the priest could eat of the sacrifices, and only the priests, right? But this is going into detail who can eat. Now watch this, because it's not in our custom for you to return to your mother's house. Everything is dealing with the men. That's who the Lord deals with, the men. Go ahead.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 22 and verse 11. But if the priest buy any soul with his money,
Whoa, I just said buy. If he buy any soul, go ahead.
he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat.
Go ahead.
If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger,
Meaning someone that's not of the tribe of Aaron and his sons. They're not of the priesthood. Go ahead.
she may not eat of an offering of the holy things.
Right.
But if the priest's daughter be a widow divorced,
A widow or divorced. Go ahead.
and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house,
That's the custom. You return to your father's house, not your mother's house. That ain't our custom. She told her go return to your mother's house.
right,
Finish that out.
as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat, but there shall no stranger eat thereof.
Right. She goes back to her father's house. Now back to Ruth. Just remember when we did Tobit, and everybody was amazed at how many laws is involved in that thing. Now,
Verse 8.
yeah, verse 8 again.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1 and verse 8. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me.
Right, she's saying, as you have dealt kindly with my sons. Is what she's saying. Go ahead.
The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you,
Yeah, the Lord grant you that you may find rest. Go ahead.
each of you in the house of her husband.
So she tell him, go find you some husbands. Go find you some husbands. Go ahead.
Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept.
Right. Go ahead.
And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people.
Wait a minute. So they said, no, we're going to return with you to your people. Remember, the Lord gave bread to his people. Go ahead.
And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb,
Right. Go ahead.
that they may be your husbands?
Right.
Turn again, my daughters. Go your way. For I am too old to have an husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should also bear sons.
Watch this.
Would ye tarry for them till they were grown?
Right. So if I have sons now, will you wait until they're 20 years? Because it's got to be 20 years old.
Right.
Will you wait until they be grown? Go ahead.
Would ye stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me.
Hold on. So it said, would ye stay for them from having husbands? So would you wait all that time instead of getting a husband? Go ahead. Oh, no. Then it said, it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. Now, what does she mean? The hand of the Lord is gone out against me. She has no husband and she has no sons. So now it's just her. Go ahead.
And they lifted up their voice and wept again. Mm-hmm. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her.
Ruth clave unto her. Now, what did the scriptures say? That the heathen will cleave to Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Now watch what she said.
And she said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people.
Gone back to her people. Go ahead.
And unto her gods.
And to her gods. Go ahead.
Return thou after thy sister-in-law.
Right. So she going back to her people and her gods. This word here, go ahead, pull that up. You go turn my alarm off on my phone. Yeah, that's what that is. It's Elohim. Yeah, Elohim. So now the reason when we were in verse 1, we went to the Strong's to show you the word that they used for judges. Because it said it was in the days when the judges ruled in Israel. So what happens in this verse right here, when you get to 15, and it says, she's going back unto her gods. They say that gods right here means judges. She's going back to the judges of her tribe. No, sir. No, sir. Because why wouldn't it use the same word that it used in verse 1 for judges? Remember, the definition said to judge. So the translators, they understood, so they translated it as gods plural because they know that the Moabites have multiple gods. Don't be fooled. Next verse.
Verse 16. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go.
Hold on. So she's saying, don't tell me to leave. Wherever you go, I will go. Right? What's she doing? Go ahead.
And where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Mm-hmm. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God, my God.
So what is she doing to her? What is she doing here?
Convert.
Yeah, she's cleaving. She is cleaving wholeheartedly to Ruth. Go ahead.
Where thou diest, will I die.
Damn.
And there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me.
So she's saying, I'm going to stay with you till you die. In other words, she has become Naomi's property. You can't. She is her property, and it's going to become evident as we read through this. Man, she said, wherever you be buried, I want to be buried. She clave unto her. I mean, wholeheartedly. Go ahead.
When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her.
Right, so when she saw that Ruth was refusing to leave and she was cleaving to her and wanted to be with her, she just said, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop trying to tell you to go back to your people and get a husband from your people. Go ahead.
So they two went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them. And they said, is this Naomi?
Right. So after all these years, here comes Naomi back, and she's got a Moabite with her. Where's her husband? Where are her sons? So everybody's looking like, what's going on? Go ahead.
And she said unto them, call me not Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty have dealt very bitterly with me.
See, it go right back to the law. Why you think this stuff is happening? And she realizes it. She's like, the Lord have dealt bitterly with me. I don't know what her husband did, why he died, but the sons took the Moabite women as wives. The Lord said, I will destroy thee suddenly. Go ahead.
I went out full, and the Lord had brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi?
Right.
Seeing the Lord have testified against me, and the Almighty have afflicted me.
Right.
So
even when you go back to verse 1, that's why I wanted to, show. He brought the famine on the land. The Lord, like it said in Hosea, the Lord have a controversy with the people of the land. Mm-hmm. You was going to say something? Okay. Now, verse 22.
So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess.
Who?
And Ruth the Moabitess.
That's a woman of Moab, a female of Moab, female descendant of Moab. Go ahead.
Her daughter-in-law with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest.
Right, so it's the beginning of barley harvest. That go over people's head right there. Like, oh well, yes, the barley harvest. All right, chapter 2 and verse 1.
The book of Ruth, chapter 2 and verse 1. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz.
So why would it be saying this in this verse? Why is it mentioning
I had to understand
a kinsman?
The bloodline. You had to understand.
Right, because with everything else, laws are at play.
And Ruth, the Moabitess, said unto Naomi,
Calling her Moabitess again.
let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn after him in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter.
So let me now go into the field and glean ears of corn after him in whose sight I shall find grace. Meaning, find favor in his sight, right? So what y'all are about to see, man, go to Leviticus real quick. Leviticus 19. Give me, we'll work backwards. Go to verse 33. So now Ruth is a Moabitess. So you about to see some laws play out. Read 33 and 34.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 33. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
Right, so what does that mean? That means when it said, thou shalt love him as thyself, that means that you have to apply these laws to any stranger sojourning on our land. Now, let's back up and go to verse 9.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 9. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field.
Hold on. Remember it said it was the beginning of the barley harvest. Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest, and thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger.
See that? You shall leave it for the poor and stranger. Go ahead.
I am the Lord your God.
All right, you can drop that, man. This is so. I mean, it's amazing. So, as we going through this, and we see these laws, now when you start seeing how Boaz is operating, you understand this man knows the damn commandments. He ain't no damn scrub like most of us. Matter of fact.
No, I was saying about the roof, but go ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go Deuteronomy 24 before we start reading there again. We might as well. We just read in Leviticus 19. We'll read the same thing in chapter 24. Start at verse 19. No. Matter of fact, start at 17.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 17. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge.
Mm-hmm. See, we got righteous laws on how we're supposed to treat people. Which, like Joel was saying earlier, they have never done us this way. Go ahead.
But thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt.
So we been in and out of bondage. We know what it's like and how it feels to be oppressed like that. So in our kingdom, we're going to live by these laws. We're not going to be just randomly oppressing people just for the hell of it. They have to do something wicked in order for us to punish them. Straight up. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God redeemed thee thence. Therefore, I command thee to do this thing.
Mm-hmm. 19.
When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field.
So if some fall in the field, go ahead.
Thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger.
See, it shall be for the stranger.
For the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all thy work of thine hands.
Keep going.
When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over thy boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
See how righteous the Lord is? His commandments is awesome.
When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing.
Right. So, back to Ruth. Now, we coming back to our heritage. We got to learn these laws. This is how you be righteous. Literally, this is how you're righteous. Christ doing everything he did for Israel is not what makes you righteous. He's that advocate, and you have a way to repent through him to the Father. But you got to bring forth your own works. You have to learn these laws and live by them. Now, where was we at?
Verse 3.
Read that.
The book of Ruth, chapter 2 and verse 3. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers.
So what is she doing? They're reaping whatever falls, she can collect it because she's a stranger. Go ahead.
And her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging unto Boaz, who was of the kindred of Elimelech.
She know, and Naomi is coaching her too. Naomi know the law. She coaching her. Go ahead.
And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, The Lord be with you. And they answered him, The Lord bless thee. Mm-hmm. Then said Boaz unto his servant that was set over the reapers, Whose damsel is this?
Right. Whose woman is this? Who she belong to? Go ahead.
And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, It is the Moabitish damsel.
So a woman of a descendant of Moab, a female descendant of Moab.
that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves.
So she asks him, and this is according to the law. Right. Pray means ask. Yeah, she is in order. She's really cleaving the way people are supposed to cleave to Israel. Go ahead.
So she came and hath continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house.
Go ahead.
Then said Boaz unto Ruth, Hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens.
Right, so stay here by his maidens that he had working. Go ahead.
Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them.
Mm-hmm. So follow them while they reaping. Go ahead.
Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch thee?
Mm-hmm.
And when thou art athirst, go unto the vessels and drink of that which the young men have drawn.
Right, so get you something to drink too. See, Boaz knows something too. He's heard about her. Go ahead.
Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground.
Whoa, wait a minute. Why is she bowing down to Boaz?
Maybe she was in the West Coast Connection or something. I don't know.
Wait a minute. Why is she bowing? You ain't supposed to bow down to nobody.
Right. She's humbling herself.
Right. Right. She's in order. She's a woman of another nation. She's cleaving and she's in order. Everything she's doing is in order. Watch. Go ahead.
And said unto him, Why have I found grace in thine eyes, that thou shouldest take no knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger?
Oh, see, I am a stranger. Go ahead.
And Boaz answered and said unto her, It hath fully been showed me, all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband.
Right, how she has cleaved unto her. She's become Naomi's property. She has cleaved to her.
Yo, you just to show it in the New Testament, you should go to Mark 7 to show that the Syrophoenician lady did the same thing to Christ. She bowed down at his feet.
Excellent point by Joab. Hold this. Let's go to Mark 7 and 26. Well, start at 25.
Yep, exactly.
Excellent point.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 25. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell at his feet.
Damn. Fell at his feet. Go ahead.
The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter.
Right, you good. You good.
Man, that just... Dang.
1 hour land, bro. We did you back to space.
Dang. Every time you read something new.
Yeah, you just see more and more. Matthew 15. Matthew 15, start at 24. I'm glad you brought that up. Excellent point.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24.
Same woman, same account.
But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Then she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me.
She came and she worshipped him. She bowed down at his feet, like it says in Mark, which is the same thing that Ruth did with Boaz.
Hey, and those the crumbs of the field, crumbs
Right.
off the table.
Right.
She eating the crumbs. She said,
Right.
We get the crumbs, just like the strangers get the leftovers in the field.
Yes. Right. Go ahead. Where was we at?
Ruth, I think 11.
Ruth
2 and 11.
Yeah.
The book of Ruth, chapter 2 and verse 11. And Boaz answered and said unto her, It hath fully been shown me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother and the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people,
people.
which thou knowest not heretofore.
Right, a people. Man, you can't. I don't see how anybody
of
could
thy
be
natives nativity.
Right.
Father and thy mother in the land of their nativity.
Yeah.
She's from Moab.
You a
bro.
native
She's a
Moabite.
It's no question anymore. She's a Moabite. Now, really, we just dealing with the law. How things are supposed to be done in order. What this story is really about, because it's not really about Ruth. It's about God's commandments, as you're going to see. Where we at?
12.
Verse 12? Go ahead.
The Lord recompense thy work.
Right, meaning the Lord going to reward you for what you do. Because remember, the promise going all the way back to Abraham. I will bless them that bless thee. Go ahead.
And a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust.
Wait a minute. If he wouldn't even have to say the Lord God of Israel. Mm-hmm. He would say our Father, our God. Go ahead.
Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thine handmaid, though I be not like unto one of thine handmaidens.
Mm-hmm.
And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed and left.
Right. So because how she has treated Naomi, and she has been in order, he's showing her favor. He's treating her like one of us. Go ahead.
He invited her into the house. No, she was a light-skinned slave. But that's what they did to us. You read that in that Willie Lynch letter, how they divided us in our own people different ranks.
Yep.
But and some of us got favor, and some of us,
separated us too,
right,
in every aspect.
Verse 15. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not.
Right, don't stop her. She gonna follow behind y'all, and she gonna pick up the sheep. She gonna pick up what's left, what you leave behind, and don't rebuke her. Go ahead.
And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her.
See, so purposefully leave some behind for her. What is Boaz doing? Man, this man is he understands his law, and he righteous, man. He righteous. Go ahead.
And leave them, that she may glean them, and rebuke her not. So she gleaned in the field until even, and beat out that she had gleaned. And it was about an ephah of barley. And she took it up, and went into the city. And her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought forth, and gave to her that she had reserved after she was sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today?
You see how she brought forth and gave to her that she had reserved after she was sufficed. So you see how she's moving in order. I mean, Boaz going to say something that you rarely hear said to our women, period. Go ahead. And her mother-in-law said to her, verse 19.
Yep. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today? And where wroughtest thou? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee. And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, the man's name with whom I wrought today is Boaz.
Oh, so Boaz, huh? Watch Naomi.
And Naomi said unto her, daughter-in-law, blessed be the Lord, who have not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead.
And what does Naomi see? Why she say that? She sees something. Remember how Elizabeth, when she was talking to Mary, she was like, oh, thou art blessed among women. Because she understood. So Naomi understand what's going on right here. She see what the Lord is doing. Go ahead.
And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of kin unto us.
Now, why would she be saying that? The man
'cause
is
says-
near of kin.
Because the husbands were passed away, and in their customs.
There were no children. There was no one to continue on in that name. Go ahead.
And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen.
One of our next kinsmen. So now pay attention to Naomi. Pay attention to Naomi. Naomi know what she's doing. She know exactly what she's doing. Go
And
ahead.
Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest.
Right. So in other words, and during the harvest, you stay behind them, and you whatever they leave behind, that's for you. Right. Go ahead.
And Naomi said unto Ruth her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field.
Mm-hmm.
So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of the barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law.
Right. Go ahead.
The book of Ruth, chapter.
Hold on. Let me say this before we go. So, so Naomi is the only one left. You have her husband, his land. You have Elimelech, and you have Kilion. They have their own land. They have their own lot. Now, pay attention.
The book of Ruth,
Chapter 3.
chapter 3 and verse 1. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, my daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee?
Shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? Go ahead.
And now, is not Boaz of our kindred?
See? She's setting it up. She understands the law. Go ahead. Is
With-
he not our kindred? Go ahead.
With whose maidens thou wast? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor.
Oh,
Wash thyself there, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man, until he shall have done eating and drinking.
so go down to the threshing floor and wait until he finish eating and drinking. Go ahead.
And it shall be, when he lieth down, that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in, and uncover his feet, and lay thee down. And he will tell thee what thou shalt do.
Now, reading through this, like, wait a minute, this must be some kind of custom that was going on. Then you gonna creep in that jank and get in his bed and lay at his feet. I ain't never heard of nothing like this before. But she telling her this is what you should do.
Right.
Let's watch it play out. Go ahead.
And she said unto her, all that thou sayest unto me, I will do.
She was in order. It's like most of the people you see that got any type of blessing or any favor, they did everything in order the way it's supposed to be done. They didn't go off of their own mind. Go ahead.
And she went down unto the floor.
Oh, another thing. This would be like Titus 2. Let the aged women. Right. She listening to her. If only our women today would listen.
Right. But they also but it said you got to have the aged women to teach them.
Right.
Like, was it Sirach
They
25
understood,
and
yeah.
3? If you gave the nothing in your youth, what will you have in your old age? I mean, that's the generation we're in now.
Right.
Of generations of not having those elders in place to teach our young men and women.
Damn.
The book of Ruth, chapter 3 and verse 6. And she went down unto the floor, and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. And she came softly, and uncovered his feet, and laid her down.
So she done uncovered his feet, lay down by his feet. Watch this.
And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid, and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet.
So finally he feels her at his feet. He wakes up. Go ahead.
And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman.
So thou art a near kinsman. So what did she just ask him to do?
Procreate.
So, but so, so there's a process to it. So that because he know who she is, she came back. This is Elimelech's wife,
daughter-in-law. Well, yeah.
Elimelech. That was her husband was Elimelech. So he understands the laws. He knows what's going on. This is why Ruth told her to go and do this. And Ruth got her motive behind it is to bring forth seed too, so she can have an heir. This stuff is so foreign to us, man. It just, you know what I'm saying? You have to keep looking at it before you start understanding what's really going on. Because it's nothing like today. So Naomi just telling her what to do. He's near kin. That means he can take you as a wife and bring up seed. Bring up an offspring. Verse 10.
And he said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich.
Right, this is what Boaz is saying to her.
And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all that thou requirest.
Right, so he's saying, okay, I'll raise up seed for my brother through you. And watch what he does. See, this is like, as reading this, like, damn, man, Boaz, this brother was mighty and righteous, man. Go ahead. So he's saying, I will do it. Go ahead.
For all the city of my people doeth know that thou art a virtuous woman.
Damn. And she's of another nation, and everybody knows she virtuous.
And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman. Howbeit, there is a kinsman nearer than I.
Right, so he knows there's someone else that can do it. You have to go through this person first, in order. Go ahead.
Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning, that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman well, let him do the kinsman's part.
Right.
But if he will not do the part of a kinsman to thee, then will I do the part of a kinsman to thee, as the Lord liveth. Lie down until the morning.
So he done promised her, I'm going to go make sure, see if this brother will raise up seed to his brother like it's saying in the law, and if he don't do it, I'll do it. Go ahead.
And she lay at his feet until the morning, and she rose up before one could know another. And he said, Let it not be known that a woman came into the floor. Also he said, Bring the veil that thou hast upon me, and hold it. And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her.
Right, gave her some more. And she's going to go back and share that with Naomi. Because that's how Ruth rolled. Go ahead.
And she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, Who art thou, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her. And she said, These 6 measures of barley gave he me. For he said to me, Go not empty unto thy mother-in-law.
Right, go not empty unto thy mother-in-law.
Then,
this dude moving righteous, bro.
Then said she, Sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall.
Right, wait until the matter shall fall.
For the man will not be in rest until he have finished the thing this day.
Right, because he promised he was going to do that. He was going to see what's up. I'm going to go see what's up with your boy. He don't do it, I will. Last chapter 4.
The book of Ruth, chapter 4 and verse 1. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he had said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here.
Yeah, come on, bro.
And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here.
Got witnesses.
And they sat down.
Go ahead.
And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land.
So Naomi's selling a parcel of land. Go ahead.
Which was our brother Elimelech. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know.
Right.
For there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee.
Right.
And he said, I will redeem it.
Go ahead.
Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of the dead.
Wait a minute.
Some fine
Can
print,
you
some fine print.
Can you sell your sister? Can you sell an Israelite woman?
No.
Can that?
He said you must buy. You must purchase her.
Right.
She's a possession.
That's it right there. that one verse. That whole argument.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day buyest the field of the hand of Naomi? Thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance.
Because of the law. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Deuteronomy 25:5. This is why the whole thing going on with, it's a near kinsman. Verse 5 and 6.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25 and verse 5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger.
Right. Go ahead.
Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her.
That's why Naomi was like, we have a near kinsman named Boaz.
And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel.
Right, according to our law. See how now everything makes sense. It makes sense. Now back to Ruth 2.
And you keep
I'm
reading,
sorry, Ruth.
but it also, you keep reading, it says, if the next brother doesn't do it, she goes to the elders. Boaz already had the elders there. It's
So if you,
just in case he say no, elders.
right, if you don't perform it, they supposed to he becomes what is called he who had his shoe loose, which means he did not show love and raise up seed to his brother, as you read on right there. Y'all can read that on your own. Back to chapter 4.
The book of Ruth, chapter 4 and verse 6. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance.
Oh, now he got to change your heart. First, I'll redeem the land, but I don't want this woman. Go ahead.
And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing. For to conform all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Israel.
Right.
Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe.
Go ahead.
And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi.
Right. Bought it from Naomi. And also, he buying Ruth from Naomi.
Yeah, that's cut all day.
Verse 10.
Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife.
Hold on, because it says that at the end of the verse, of the hand of Naomi. Go ahead.
Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess,
Again.
the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife.
He bought her. He purchased her to be his wife. Go ahead.
To raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance.
See what this is all about? The reason we even have this book is because this right here. It's because of these laws showing you how we supposed to operate. You know, there's a saying when I was young, oh, you keeping it in the family.
Supposed to.
Right. But they supposed to be dead.
Right.
Right, not alive.
Yeah, not soul food.
All right, go ahead.
Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day.
Right. Because, so he got the land, he got her. And who does that go to?
His children. His lineage goes
Right.
to those children.
Obed of Ruth. Obed. So that Obed get that inheritance. It stay right with that family. Tight, man. Go ahead.
And all the people that were in the gate, and the elders said, We are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel.
Build the house of Israel. Go ahead.
And do thou worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem.
Hey, give me Matthew 2:6 real quick. Ephratah. It's prophesied in Malachi. No, it's prophesied in Micah, but I'd rather you go to Matthew 2 so people can see in the New Testament, which ain't nothing different. It's just the fulfillment of the prophecies.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah? For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
Because this Christ, he comes from this. Verse 12.
The book of Ruth, chapter 4 and verse 12. And let thy house be like the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman.
So she's being used for the same purpose. Ruth is being used to bring forth seed. She's not Israel. She's just being used. But she, see how she walked in order? This should be a great lesson for the heathen that want to cleave. Because all we have today is damn adversaries that want to go against everything the scriptures say and claim that they in Christ and all this other stupid stuff. Don't understand nothing about the Most High. Nothing. The only way you understand him is his laws. Go ahead. We're almost done, y'all.
The book of Ruth, chapter 4 and verse 13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception.
See who gives conception?
The Lord.
The Lord.
That's not immaculate conception either.
Right.
And she bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, which have not left thee this day without a kinsman.
Hold on. They said that to Ruth.
No, they said it to Naomi.
Go ahead.
And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, which have not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thine old age, for thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee.
See, Ruth loved her.
Which is better to thee than 7 sons have borne him.
See, that's how good she been to her. She said,
Gosh,
remember in the beginning, she's like, I'm going to follow you to the death. I'm going to cleave to you. Wherever you buried, I'm going to be buried there. She cleaved. Go ahead.
And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom and became nurse unto it.
Why didn't Ruth become nurse to the child that she bore? Right, it wasn't her child. She was used as a vessel.
Gosh.
Go ahead.
And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying,
Well, see, did Ruth name him? Go ahead.
Man.
Right, see how
That's man, the kind of spirit she got on her though. Like, gosh, somebody like to be in order. Like imagine, man, like women serious about their kids. You know what I mean? Possessions and ownership. You see now, even in divorces, women fighting them, taking all the rights away from everybody else. But she gave it up to play her role that she was to play.
That's an interesting spirit right there. Really an interesting spirit.
I've been here before.
Go ahead.
Verse 17. And the woman, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, There is a son born of Naomi,
See, a son born of Naomi.
And they called his name Obed, and he is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now these are the generations of Perez. Perez begat Hezron, and Hezron begat Ram, and Ram begat Aminadab, and Aminadab begat Nahshon, and Nahshon begat Salmon, and Salmon begat Boaz, and Boaz begat Obed, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David.
Right. And of whom
Christ
came Christ out of Bethlehem, Judah. So look, with all this, there is no way you can be deceived. It's painfully obvious. She was a servant, and she was, I hate to say it, but she was a righteous servant at that. I mean, you did have righteous servant, like, what's his name? Saul's servant, the Edomite that squealed on David. He was faithful to Saul.
But that when she got sold, that's a cut right there.
Man,
That's a cut.
I mean,
Let us say.
From the beginning to the end. There's no way you can say she's Israel, man. No, bowing at his feet, being sold, saying, I'm going to cleave to you. It's man, this is amazing. It's amazing. But all praises to the Most High, for opening our eyes to this.
No, I'm about to say, because it shows the kind of spirit the other nations are supposed to have, that they're supposed to be in when they cleave unto us. But you see how Boaz and Naomi treated her. It shows the spirit we're supposed to be in.
Exactly.
Right.
We're supposed to be righteous rulers. You know what I'm saying? And you're not supposed to deal with them harshly and things like that. It shows both sides of how we're supposed to be when it's time for us to be in rulership.
Yeah, living in order, man. Watch
It's
this.
at peace.
Watch this.
When we're in rulership, we're at peace.
Right, everybody's at peace because we're pushing peace.
Right.
Luke
He pushing peace.
21.
Yeah, Jake over here pushing peace. He said, Luke, 21.
Luke 21:25.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth.
So them signs, that's talking about this. Signs. Stuff that's written, prophecies that's written for us. Because we see everything coming to pass. We understand what time we're living in. Go ahead.
And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations.
See, on the earth, distress of nations. Go ahead.
With perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring.
The sea and the waves is the people. The reason they're roaring is because they're upset with their leaders. Because ain't no damn righteousness on this place. Nowhere. You can go to YouTube, turn on the news. People are protesting everywhere, and it's been going on for years. Why? Nobody's applying the law of the stranger. Nobody's applying God's laws. So it's continual uproars, man. That's the sea. That's distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. The people are the sea.
Since you said it, you gotta go to it.
Oh.
Christ calmed the sea.
Oh man, what is that? Matthew. Yeah, that's a slick one.
Yeah, it was a message within the message.
Right.
I saw you put it on Facebook one day.
It's in Psalms too. One moment, y'all. This is not a scripture I'll be hitting much. rebuke the sea.
I see it in Mark. Oh, Matthew 8. I'm right
It
here.
was like Mark though.
They
Yeah,
got-
but
yeah,
that's
this
cool.
one in Mark 2. Mark 4.
Yeah, I think that's the one I like in Mark 4.
The other one's
I went
Matthew 8.
past it. Yeah.
You want Mark instead of Matthew?
Yeah, one more.
One's at 4. No.
37.
The book of Mark, chapter 4 and verse 37. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full.
Hey, this is a similitude of us, like we showed in Luke. It's a similitude. We supposed to be in that ship with Christ. We supposed to be in this with Christ. Go ahead.
And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish?
We about to die. You don't care? Come on.
You on the boat with me? And
Right.
and he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still.
Damn. Unto the sea. Unto the sea, the people. Peace, be still. Because what he going to do when he come back? He restoring peace on the earth. Go ahead.
And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm.
See? And there was a great... Man, I can't wait for that day, man. Peace everywhere. It's the Prince of Peace. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith?
See? All kinds of stuff going on around us, y'all. You got to be prepared in your spirit. You got to have faith that the Most High going to bring us out of this. Got to have faith.
And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? The wind, that I feel like that represents what they're talking about in Revelations too, holding back all the destruction and
The war.
confusion.
Yeah, everything going to obey him.
The wind and the,
Yeah, because he going to rebuke them and they're going to turn their weapons into plowshares. Hey, that's going to do it for the class. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it so much. Let's close out with Acts 5 and 29.
all praises. The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey God rather than men.
Right. We ought to obey the Most High God rather than men, who gave us his righteous law and then sent his son and showed us how to walk in these commandments, man.
All praises.
Yes, all praises to the Most High. With that, you can cue the... Oh, no. Cash App.
Oh,
Before I forget, the Cash App, please send your donations. We got the Feast of Unleavened Bread coming up soon. Please send in your alms. We need it. Now, I'm Brother Jacob.
Brother Roy.
And then on the Wheels of Steel, we got the DJ extraordinaire on the computer. Brother Jeremiah Yisrael, also known as Jeremiah.
Or Mr. I be the Pappy.
With that, y'all, we say
Shalom.
shalom.
Matthew chapter 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times.
It ain't nowhere that I can't go. You see me, you see him, I'm like children in the flame though. It's because I follow him though. He the light to my feet, it's like flames what I follow. but let me stop for you heathos. I've been crossed many times, so yes, I know the pain, yo. And forgive is where I ain't go. Told the brother, get in line, giving shots like a needle. I've been sinning for real, murder, but I ain't killed for real. Shot for shot to seal the deal. Now I'm here to swallow the pill. Now I'm woozy, don't know how to act. Devil is mine, on fully attack. My spirit to flesh had taken it back, and I ain't thinking about bringing it back. Tap, tap, I think I ain't hear it right. The Lord come like a thief at night, but I ain't believe the hype. Yeah, like Saul when I seen the night, but had me feeling like Paul when I found the light. Cap, 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 cap. You say you love your people, but that's cap, cap, cap. You swear you don't be lying, but that's cap, cap, cap. You say you did atonement, but that's cap, cap, cap. I say cap, 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 cap. You say you love your nation, but that's cap, cap, cap. You swear you done with envy, but that's cap, cap, cap. You say you did atonement, but that's cap, cap, cap. I say.
So Peter said, if a brother sin against you, he offended, he does something unlawful, could have took your money, could have tail barreled against any of those types. How many times should I forgive? 7 times? Because 7 was a complete number. What did the matter?
Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.